You're probably watching this because weight loss has felt way harder than it's supposed to be. You've tried cutting calories. You've tried exercising more. You've followed advice from doctors, influencers, apps, and articles, and somehow the results never matched the effort. Either the weight barely moved or it came back the moment you relaxed. And over time, that creates this quiet belief that maybe your body just doesn't work right. This is important because most people aren't failing at weight loss. They're trapped inside myths that actively work against their biology. In this video, I want to walk you through the whole picture, not surface-level tips, not motivation, not quick fixes. I want to explain why weight loss feels so confusing, why so much advice contradicts itself, and why by the end of this, things should finally start to make sense. As we go on, you'll see that weight loss is not one action, it's a system. And when you understand the system, the frustration drops away. Early on, there's one core rule we need to get clear, because everything else depends on it. Your body does not lose fat simply because you eat less or move more. Your body loses fat when it receives the right internal signals. Hormones, blood sugar, stress levels, sleep, and inflammation decide whether fat is released or protected. This is important, so I'll say it again. Fat loss is not about willpower. It's about biology responding to signals. Let's talk about the first major myth that confuses almost everyone. The idea that weight loss is just calories in versus calories out. On paper, this sounds logical, but the human body is not a calculator. When you sharply cut calories, your body doesn't interpret that as a smart plan. It interprets it as danger. Metabolism slows down. Thyroid output decreases. Hunger hormones rise. Stress hormones increase. This is why people lose weight for a short time and then suddenly stall, even though they're eating less than before. This is where people get stuck and blame themselves. I've seen patients eating very low calories, tracking everything perfectly, and still not losing fat. Their body adapted to conserve energy. This is survival biology doing exactly what it evolved to do. The next myth is that exercise is the main driver of weight loss. Movement matters, but this is where confusion sets in. Exercise burns fewer calories than most people expect, and excessive exercise without proper recovery can actually slow fat loss. Long sessions of intense cardio raise cortisol. Chronically elevated cortisol tells your body to store fat, especially around the abdomen. I had a patient who was doing high-intensity workouts almost every day and couldn't understand why nothing changed. When we reduced training volume, added rest days, and focused on strength instead of constant cardio, fat loss finally began. This is important. Exercise is a signal. When paired with enough food, sleep, and recovery, it helps fat loss. When paired with stress and restriction, it blocks it. Another myth that refuses to die is the idea that eating fat makes you fat. This is why you're confused when low-fat diets leave you hungry and frustrated. Dietary fat does not automatically become body fat. In fact, healthy fats help regulate hormones, support brain function, and stabilize blood sugar. When people cut fat too low, they feel hungry all the time, cravings increase, and insulin levels stay elevated. Insulin is a storage hormone. When it's constantly high, fat loss is blocked. I've seen people switch from low-fat processed foods to whole foods with adequate fat and finally feel full again. The scale didn't drop immediately, but hunger disappeared. Energy improved. This is a sign that internal systems are healing, even before visible weight changes happen. Let's talk about another myth that causes real damage. The belief that faster weight loss is better. This is where people panic when results slow down. Rapid weight loss often comes from water loss, glycogen depletion, and muscle breakdown, not true fat loss. Your body responds by increasing hunger and slowing metabolism to compensate. This is why weight comes back so quickly. Slow progress is not a sign of failure. It's often a sign that the process is working correctly. When fat loss is gradual, hormones have time to adapt. Muscle is preserved. Metabolism stays healthier. I had a patient who lost about 1 pound a month. That doesn't sound impressive, but during that time, energy improved, blood sugar stabilized, sleep deepened, and strength increased. A year later, the weight was gone and stayed gone. Another common myth is that hunger means you're doing it right. Constant hunger is not discipline. It's a warning sign. Chronic hunger means leptin signaling is impaired, blood sugar is unstable, and stress hormones are elevated. This is why people feel obsessed with food during restrictive diets. Their body is pushing back to protect itself. This is where digestion quietly enters the picture. Poor gut health, inflammation, and nutrient deficiencies can interfere with appetite regulation and insulin sensitivity. You can eat the right foods and still feel unsatisfied if your digestive system isn't functioning well. This is why weight loss is never just about food quantity. It's about how your body processes what you eat. Another place people get stuck is relying entirely on the scale. The scale does not tell the full story. Weight can stall while fat loss continues. Muscle gain, reduced inflammation, and improved hydration all affect scale weight. Meanwhile, real progress shows up as better mood, fewer cravings, deeper sleep, improved focus, and increased strength. This is important. Internal improvement happens before visible change. If you only judge success by the number on the scale, you'll quit just before your body starts responding. Toward the end, we need to zoom out and talk about the deeper issue behind most weight struggles. For many people, the real problem is insulin resistance, chronic stress, inflammation, and metabolic dysfunction. When cells stop responding properly to insulin, the body locks fat away and increases hunger. When stress is constant and sleep is poor, fat loss shuts down. Weight loss, when done correctly, helps repair this at the cellular level. blood sugar becomes more stable, insulin sensitivity improves, mitochondria produce energy more efficiently, fat becomes accessible again. This is not about forcing your body to lose weight, it's about restoring how it's supposed to function. So if weight loss has felt confusing, slow, or discouraging, this is why. You weren't broken. You were following myths that ignore biology. When weight loss is approached as part of a larger system that includes sleep, stress, movement, digestion, hormones, and recovery, it becomes calmer, slower, and far more sustainable. And when done this way, it's not just effective, it's healing. And if you want to learn more about how these systems work together, there's a lot more to understand.